United States, someone has a stroke every 40 seconds, Paul. And I forgot to welcome everybody to Colorado's Best. I'm Joanna Canals.
And I'm Paula Haddock. It's good to have you with us.
Yeah.
As you were saying, someone has a stroke every 40 seconds. It is the 5th leading cause of death. And just as often, someone in the United States dies of heart disease. It's the #1 killer, more than all cancers combined.
That is truly amazing. And on October 7th, Channel 2 is teaming up with the American Heart Association for CycleNation. The goal is to ignite a health revolution, and there are so many reasons to get rolling.
That's right. Cyclists are less likely to be obese, have high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. As little as 30 minutes of biking a week can protect you from coronary heart disease. And biking 20 miles a week can significantly reduce your chances of heart disease and stroke and extend your life.
And here to shed more light on stroke prevention is stroke survivor and cyclist and U.S. Paralympian Billy Lister. That's quite the list.
Yes, it's so wonderful to have you here, Billy.
Thank you guys so much for having me today. Thank you.
Yeah, you are like a bright ray of sunshine coming into the studio. We're talking about CycleNation, but want to hear a little more about your story.
Sure, yeah. So my story actually starts out when I was just a 15-year-old kid, a freshman in high school, and was diagnosed with a very rare and acute life-threatening brain abnormality, something known as an AVM. Unfortunately, because of the location of that brain abnormality, it was deeply recessed in my brain and encroaching in my cerebral cortex.
Wow.
Traditional modes of therapy and surgery were not an option, so I had to go a very unproven procedure at the time, something known as the gamma ray knife. And underwent that surgery, saved my life. This was when I was 16 years old, so still just navigating high school. But unfortunately, as a surgical complication, started experiencing some swelling in my brain, which led to a loss of function on my left-hand side. Immediately underwent intensive physical and occupational rehab, making a lot of gains, doing a lot better. But then 1 month after my 17th birthday, I suffered a stroke.
Oh.
Now, my stroke was actually a very atypical event. Most strokes you think about, if you've ever been affected by a family member or anything, you think you're walking down the street, 1 second your life is perfectly fine, and the next you wake up in an emergency room and you're changed forever. Mine was actually a slow and aggressive process. So each day I woke up and couldn't do something I could do the day before. First thing I noticed was I was having trouble typing on a keyboard. Day after that, I couldn't tie my shoes. Day after that, I couldn't brush my teeth with my left hand. And then eventually wasn't able to button up shirts, and then eventually the ability to walk without assistance. All in all, my stroke lasted about 4 weeks. And after that 4-week period, it's left me in the fully neurologically paralyzed state of my entire left-hand side I am in today.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You've been through so much and survived so much. And then you went on to become a Paralympian, a cyclist. Tell us how you got involved in all of that.
Getting on a bike for the very first time. It's really what changed my life.
And when was that?
That was back in 2011 when I was involved in a paratriathlon camp with an organization based out in San Diego called the Challenge Athletes Foundation. I hadn't been on a bike since my 17th birthday, since I suffered my stroke. And it was kind of just navigating life. I wasn't really living life. I didn't know that as an individual with a disability, you could still live an active lifestyle. You could have a healthy life and purposeful and meaningful life. And that moment that I got on a bike for the first time was kind of the light switch just turned on, that it just showed me that there is a life to be had still afterwards. And, that changed my mindset, that changed everything. And since then have moved on to fully commit myself to becoming a full-time cyclist and achieve my goal of becoming a Paralympian last summer and represented Team USA at the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Paralympic Games.
So cool. Yes. Yeah, we're seeing pictures of you in action. You know, your life changed forever, and it can certainly change for somebody out there, maybe even somebody who's watching today. And the number of stroke deaths in Colorado has changed. Can you give us some information about those stats?
Sure. It's somewhat of a staggering statistics that just came out from the CDC, the Centers for Disease and Control, that after decades of stroke death declines, now they've just released some information showing that the rate of the decline of stroke deaths has actually stalled in 3 out of 4 states in the United States of America.
Do they know why that is?
Well, even more critical is that that decline in stroke deaths has actually reversed in 21 states, including our state here of Colorado. Why? It's tough to say. There's really no definitive information to pinpoint why the decline of deaths has stalled and reversed. The CDC points the rise and increase of critical risk factors, including high blood pressure, obesity, and diabetes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there is a great event coming up, CycleNation. Are you going to be there?
Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend. It's one of my favorite events of the year.
It's fun, isn't it?
It was an amazing time last year, but I'll be in California on a charity ride, riding down the coast of California.
Well, I'll ride for you. I'm going to be there. I'll be thinking about you, and we're going to give people some information because this is a great fundraiser for the American Heart Association and raising awareness and helping folks like you and everybody else affected.
Well, CycleNation, it's a way to empower individuals to get an active lifestyle. You know, as an individual who's lived with stroke for more than half of my lifetime, I have a direct fascination with it. And you know, one of the things is that 80% of strokes are preventable.
Right.
So having an event like CycleNation, a movement, is something that you know, can change lives.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Billy. And the CycleNation Denver event is happening on Saturday, October 7th at Tivoli Quad. The ride is 4 to 6 p.m. The party is 6 to 7:30 p.m. Joanna, you said you're going to be there, right?
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be emceeing the event, so it's going to be a lot of fun. You can register at cyclenation.org/Denver. It's going to be a beautiful night. You're outdoors on the bike making money for a really good cause. Well, coming up on Colorado's Best, Peak Med Family Practice Medicine, it puts the doctor-patient relationship first with an affordable model.